Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sarel van Grinnen, aka Mr. VG, and this is a fantastic series of videos that's going to introduce you to one of the most amazing and most useful of functions you're going to do throughout your whole school career. By the end of matric, you're going to be so tired of straight lines, because we bring it in everything from financial mathematics even to geometry. A lot of times in trigonometry and in algebra, in calculus, man, everywhere. We love straight line functions because it is very, very applicable to real life. So when we talk about the basics of straight lines, we must first of all look at what is the whole idea behind functions and graphs. Now this is coming from grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, where you start these kind of sums like input, output, and where we start talking about relationships between, when you put something in and what you get out on the other side. Your function or your relation in the middle, your formula changes up your input value and spews out an output function, an output value. Now, when we talk about this, it is like taking the number 3, multiplying it by 2, which gives me that middle 6, and then adding 3 to it, and my output function is 9. Let's imagine I put the number -4 in. What is going to be my output value? Well, -4 times 2 is -8. And if I then add 3 to that, my answer is -5. But now the question is, what if I put x in there? Meaning I'm now looking for a general formula that represents this input to output. So this formula, what is it going to become? Well, if I put x in there and I times it by 2, I'm going to get some kind of y out. So here comes the thing. Input x, output y. So if I take x and I times it by 2, I add 3 to it, my answer is y. Now just a little bit of a caution. You cannot really simplify that. We cannot, for instance, add the 2 and the 3. Why? Because of BODMAS. Because when it comes to BODMAS, I've got to first do x times 2, and then I plus 3 to it. So when we look at this, I'd just like to rewrite this. Instead of saying x times 2, let's say 2x. It means exactly the same thing, but it's going to cause less of a confusion. So what I would like you to take from this sketch is a few things. First of all, when I take 3 as my input value, my output value is going to be 9. So I've got a set of coordinates, x and y. I can do the same with a 4, or the -4, I mean. -4, output value, -5. Very important that you understand we've got input values and we've got output values. And the general formula that basically describes your x values going to your y values, in this case, is going to be y equal to 2x plus 3. So whatever x value I put in, I times it by 2, and I add 3 to that. So when we talk about input and output, another way of thinking about it is just writing it in a different kind of format. Instead of going your spider diagram like that, I can write it as a table. So I can write it in a table form with your input values at the top and your output values at the bottom, X and Y. So if we talk about the first X and Y pairs that we had 3 and 9, negative 4 and 5. But what if I now want the Y values when X is 0 or when X is 2? Well, I always start by looking at my formula. Remember, I have this formula coming from the previous page. Y equal to 2X plus 3. So if I substitute the 0 in, 2 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. So I can write it in at that Y value. I'm going to repeat this process by looking at making X 2. Then my Y value is 7, because 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. Remember that this is not just a table. I mean, it's not just for niceties. I actually have sets of coordinates. 3 and 9, negative 4 and negative 5, 0 and 3, 2 and 7. Why would we want these values? Because I want to sketch a graph. I want to sketch a graph. And this specific method, ladies and gentlemen, is called the table method. Okay? So it's something that you can really familiarize yourself with. It's called the table method. Now, the table method is a wonderful method for you to go, I want to say touchy-feely, to kind of go, I inspect. And I don't really worry about what kind of a function it is, how it looks, or what is special about it. I take X values, plonk it into my equation, get Y values, and plot those coordinates. Definitely not acceptable in grade 10, 11, 12, especially if you're going to core maths. Then we use the table method as an alternative. So if you don't have another choice, you do the table method. So those coordinates I have to be able to plot on my XY axis, my Cartesian plane. So in other words, I'm going to sit with those values, 1, 2, 3, and I labeled them and all the negatives as well. Let's start with the first set of values. When X is 3, then Y must be 9. Okay, so there we've got it. There's that first one there. When X is 3, Y is 9. The same with, there we go. The same with negative 4 and negative 5. Where they cross, there's another set of coordinates. Okay? And so I can plot every one of those like you see there. Let me make it a bit clearer for you there. There's one, there's another one, there's another one, and there's another one. So if I now want to draw a line or a graph through those points, it is going to look like that. And the graph is Y equal to 2X plus 3. I want to encourage you to go and draw that graph Y equal to 3X minus 1 using the table. So hit the pause button, plonk in those values, substitute them in. I love the word plonk. It is so descriptive. But substitute those values in and let's see where we go. Well, I'm going to go and substitute, first of all, -2 in, and my answer is -7. Then I substitute 0 in, and my answer is -1. I substitute 1 in, and my answer is 2. And lastly, I substitute 2 in, and my answer is 5. This means I have the Cartesian plane with 4 coordinates. And there I've plotted them. Okay? Please make sure that you have the same coordinates as I have. And these values have to be in a straight line. So therefore, the graph is going to look like that. So when you sketch, there's a few important little things. Remember to label your axes, x and y, and please write at the top of the function what the equation of that line or that function is. So this is Mr. VG signing out. Have an amazingly wonderful rest of your day. In our next videos, we are going to start grappling with straight lines. So please tune in and have a beautiful rest of your day. Cheers.